Show of hands, how many here believe that your physical health is crucial to running your business, running a healthy business? How many believe that? And maybe even a better question is, how many believe that you can enjoy your successes without it? Yeah, it's going to be pretty hard, right? So we just celebrated 250 years of freedom, our God-given right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What about health freedom? Can we really enjoy life without health freedom? Right? So our health is free. I do believe it's a God-given right. And we've kind of come to believe, especially here in the US, that chronic disease and pain is just a side effect of life and aging. Well, I don't believe that. And there's a series on Netflix called The Blue Zones, and there's lots of cultures still out there that live to be happy and healthy 100 years and beyond. And I do believe that our body is made to do that. I believe our body knows how to heal itself. All it needs is the right mindset and the right toolbox. Pain is not our purpose. It serves purpose. Pain is a messenger. So over the last 15 years or so, I've been helping people get to the root of their pain, get to the messages. And with that, remember and restore their God-given health. So this is the evolution of free health. We're done with the evolution of chronic disease. That is ending. And the next book in the series of evolution of free health that's coming out is the 7 missing links to abundant and sustainable health. Never really missing, just forgotten over time. Today, I'm going to share these links with you. They arrived the first 7 years of my practice, and they came in a specific order, which is very important, because if I had gotten the last 2 in the beginning, I would have discounted them because they didn't go along with what I already thought I knew about health and well-being. Our minds like that. Once we make up our mind about something, it's kind of hard to get past it. So I had to be brought along slowly into remembering what is really true about health and well-being. Some are so obvious that we will go, gosh, how did we ever forget that? And then some of them may come as quite a shock. Like I said, if I had gotten it in the beginning, I would have said no. So these revelations, they created quite a shift in my life, as you can imagine, and they were literally health freeing. So right now I'm going to start sharing these in the order that they came in, starting with missing link number 1. Okay. This is one of those real obvious ones. Time does not stand still, and neither do our bodies. But it's amazing how we have total amnesia when we get a forever diagnosis, or our life is going through some rough times and it seems like nothing's ever going to change, right? Well, everything changes with change. There's just no way around that. If you make a change, then there's going to be some kind of change happen. So this became pretty clear as I was working through the food compatibility charts with my clients. These are intuitive food compatibility charts. So this is the first gift that rolled in for me, was this ability to know exactly what a body needs and wants at any given time. And the compatibility layers are also giving me volumes of information about what's going on in the body at any given time. So what was happening as my clients were working through the charts is things were changing. And so maybe they had very limited compatibility in the beginning, and then it just starts opening up as they start healing. So that was number one. Number two, I understood how unique every single body is, and our dietary needs are unique. And not one good food is good for everybody all the time. And not one bad food is bad for everybody all the time either. So this became clear. My sister-in-law actually ended up in the hospital. This strong German woman, never been sick, never been in the hospital except for to have a baby. And she's in the emergency room in just this incredible pain. And what had happened is she'd gone on this raw food diet kick. That was all the craze then, not realizing that she had a digestive issue. And so what happened is this raw food that she couldn't digest almost tore a hole in her colon. So the bottom line is that what you cannot digest and assimilate is a burden to the body. And obviously it can be really serious burden. And so the next thing was that I realized, and this is kind of funny because I was a hardcore vegan when all this started. And so I was a little judgmental vegan. And I realized, oh my goodness, some people's bodies really need meat, right? And so I had to eat a little crow on that one, you might say. And then I also wondered why some people seem to be improving a lot faster than others. Like some people's chart, their charts were opening up, and then some people's, they weren't moving very much. And so that led me in to the next missing link. By the way, I want to say this right now. Everybody that's out here right now will be able to have a 45-minute food compatibility session with me. And by the way, Tracy, I changed computers, so I don't have that in front of me. I don't know if you can text it to me, if that's doable. Well, actually, I know how I can get to it. So just stand by. I'm going to share the link with you. Okay. So anyway, the second missing link is our bodies are a reflection of what we eat and think, primarily what we think. So you can't have health and happiness if your mind is not in alignment with it. How many of y'all know somebody, maybe it's even you, that seems to be able to eat anything they want, okay? And they never gain a pound, and they're happy and healthy their entire life. Does anybody know anybody like that? I do. My grandmother. So she passed away at 93, and I don't think she was never, and I know she wasn't. She was only in the hospital one time, and that's to have her bladder tied up because she stood on her feet all day long. She was a hairdresser. And I know that she ate bacon and eggs from the time she could chew. And then when I moved in with her, when I moved back from California for a brief period of time, I saw her eat. She made cornbread all the time, and she would eat cornbread and buttermilk. And she had ice cream before she went to bed every night. And she was always an ideal weight. She never got sick. And she started going downhill only after she retired at 84. And she moved away from her community. Her beauty shop was her community. And then, her church family, that was her community. And then she moved in with my sister, and she spent days on days by herself. And she went downhill fast. And that brings back the blue zones again. One of the biggest keys to health is community. So it became obvious that just eating the so-called right food is not everything. It's not going to be the only thing. There's another piece to the puzzle. So the next missing link cleared up a lot, and this is one of those downloads that was like a real doozy. And it started with a question that was rolling around in my head one morning. I just woke up with it. I woke up with the food charts too that way, by the way. So this question that was rolling around, Gail, have you ever wondered why you don't see all these dead animals laying around. They're dying all the time. Where did they go? Right? So missing link number 3 is all of life is striving for life, and all life supports life, even death. There's a purpose for every critter on this planet, from the smallest one to the biggest one, right? So the smallest creations on Earth, bacteria, fungus, viruses, they eat dead, decaying flesh. So when the human body is in decay, basically, I call these little Pac-Man, you signal Mother Nature's little Pac-Man, that there's a smorgasbord waiting, okay? So all of life also thrives in perfect synergy and balance. So let's talk about what is balance. I started to understand balance years before all of this happened with my naturopath. And he explained to me that when the cell pH matches the blood pH, then all the pHs in your whole body, every organ has a different pH. They're all in balance. And so when that cell pH gets off, then all the pHs and all your organs get off. And your cell pH wants to match your blood pH, which is a very small window. But anything, they want to be alkaline, okay? You can be too alkaline, but it's kind of hard. They want to be alkaline. And so when they're not, meaning they're acidic, then the spirit gave me a picture to describe exactly what's happening. And it was a picture of a river rock. So when the cells are acidic, they're not little sponges anymore. They don't hydrate well. They don't take in nutrients easily, and the main one, probably most crucial thing, all of it's crucial, is they will not release toxins. So let's say you drink a lot of water, okay, but you're still thirsty, and it just goes right through you like a diuretic, like you're drinking tea or coffee, okay, and your urine is clear, chronically clear a lot. Well, that's a sign that you're not holding on to water, and you're also flushing out electrolytes, and so you're literally, you can drink too much water. You're dehydrating yourself. It's like sweating profusely, okay? And then one of the things I got is that a lot of weight issues have to do with toxins and malnourishment. So let's say you're not taking in nourishment into the cell, right? Well, we have a hunger pain for a reason. It's telling us that our body needs nutrition. And so if you don't get that nutrition, the hunger pain never gets cut off. Your body is still hungry. And so people end up eating more than they can the calories that they can burn, and they're going to gain weight. Okay. And then the other thing, toxins. I love the way the body's always doing the right thing. This is the truth. The Western medicine has kind of taught us that our body's attacking us. Not true. It's always trying to save our life. So with toxins, you store them in your fat cells until you can safely release them. Until the body's at the right pH, you're not going to release them until then. And you're healthy enough to release them. And I'll tell you something else. It's amazing how fast the body can get healthy enough. It doesn't take very long. I use the sunburn analogy. How long does it take to heal a sunburn? Well, inflammation on the inside of the body is like a sunburn, okay? We've kind of disconnected the meaning of the word inflammation. It means there's a fire in the house, right? So as soon as you put the fire out, everything starts to heal pretty quickly, and you can be in detox mode pretty quick. So how do you know you're holding toxins? Well, like I said, you hold them in your fat cells, so they plump up. So wherever you have the most fat cells is where you're holding your toxins. So people go on these detoxes and they go on these diets, and then at the end of the day, they've lost weight, but not where they want to lose it. They've still got this belly on them because they haven't released the toxins. So have you ever seen anybody, walking down the street, and from the behind, they're walking and they look perfectly normal, and then they turn around and they look 9 months pregnant, but they're not pregnant? That's your sign, and it's like super toxic and unhealthy. So and this was the next part of it, and I call this a 2.0. So I would get downloads to add on to these downloads, okay? So we talked about decay mode, right? All of life is thrives in perfect synergy and balance. Okay. So as soon as you get your balance back and you cut off the food supply, because all these critters love sugar. Okay. So I know you got a critter when I'm doing a food chart and there is no sugar, there's no starches, there's no nothing. I'm like, okay, there's some kind of critter going on here, right? And so once you cut that off and you get your balance back, well, they're going to skedaddle because all of life is striving for life. Nothing is going to stay where it cannot live. So we don't have to do all this massive extermination. As a matter of fact, what happens is you end up having all this other die off in your body, dead critters in your body. Now you got to detox from that. So unless the critter situation is going to kill you, the best thing to do is turn off that signal and they will just leave. This leads me to missing number 4. All chronic inflammation and disease begins at the energetic level. What does that mean? That's going to be energy that we can't see. Everything is energy. Even your physical body is energy. This is energy you can't see. And it's running the show, really. So this is mental, emotional stress. It could be grounding issues. You have an energy body, and if it's not in sync with your physical body, this creates a lot of stress on the body. Has anybody ever heard of sleep paralysis? This has happened to me twice, where I woke up before my energy body was in my physical body and I couldn't move. And so you have to have that in sync. It could be blocked energy. And this is what Eastern medicine is all about. It's about unblocking energy or chi. And so chiropractic, it's all about that. People think it's just about moving bones. No, it's about unblocking energy. It's Eastern medicine based. And it could be energy overload. Okay, I work with a lot of empaths and they're just bombarded and overwhelmed with energy. They absorb it. They're like energy sponges. And so this creates a lot of overwhelm and stress. So I help people with that. So basically, chronic disease is a knocking on your door, chronic knocking, that something is disrupting your balance. Okay. So now, missing link number 5, we're getting there. Our thought and feelings, both physical and emotional, and life itself even, is guiding us. It's guiding us to our good. So our emotions let us know when what we're thinking is out of alignment with health and well-being, or in alignment, you know. Our emotions are not for making decisions. That's not what they're for. That will steer you the wrong way. How many times have you made an emotional decision that ended up being the worst decision? Me. Our life, the flow of it, will tell us when we're barking up the wrong tree. It will tell us when there's time for a change. Are you in the flow? I have a saying, if your life is flowing, keep going. If it stops, that's when you stop and start asking questions. What's blocking my flow? Is it time to close this door? Is it time to open another door? Am I blocking myself somehow? You start asking questions without judgment, with curiosity, like a little child, and you're going to know what that answer is. And then the chronic patterns in our life are pointing to the chronic unconscious thinking and emotional patterns. And until you change this, not a lot's going to change. And you can't change what you're not aware of. So the first step is becoming aware that you have these patterns and you have these sore spots, and creating a new habit of thinking, seeing all your thinking. That's what consciousness is. That's what awareness is there's no thoughts that you're not aware of. So there was a method that came to me early on when this first started in 2012, and it helped me free myself from the prison of my mind. Spirit made it super clear that I was going to have to get rid of all that stuff because it was blocking me from being able to move into abundance. And I needed it, right? I kept blocking abundance. Can you relate? And in order to hear clearly, I was going to have a clear mind. So this method freed me. And I share this with most of my clients. Not everybody needs it. And I'm going to share it with you. And it works if you work it. If you have an all pass, then it's in the swag bag. The whole process. It's an audio. It's about 18 minutes long, and it's powerful. Okay, so missing link number 6 was a doozy as well. It took me a while to get there. The body is not the creator. It's responding to creation. We're the creator. So what is the body? It's a vehicle, obviously. It lets us traverse this amazing life. It's a conduit. We actually can hear spirit through it. It's a responder. It's going to respond to all that's going on around us and within us. And it's a messenger. It's going to tell us when something's out of alignment, okay, with our good. So how do we create? Well, you might look at it this way, because I think everybody here is believes that there's a higher power, right? So as a thought of God, you might consider that your creative power is the focus of your thought. And the rocket fuel is actually your feeling. So they're both our creative energies. And so when those two things line up, you're in powerful creative mode, and even more so when you act on it, okay? So for better or worse, if you're focused on what you don't want and you're afraid you're going to get it, it's coming. If you're focused on what you want and you can feel like you already have it, then it's on its way, especially if you take a step towards it. So think about this. Isn't it just totally miraculous that the one thing that we can never be disconnected from our entire life held the key to healing? Our body is not the enemy. It's a divine messenger. And this brings me to missing link number 7. We are the commander of our vessel when we realize we are. There's an old saying that says that God is the potter and we're the clay. I get it's just the other way around. God provided the clay. God is the source, and we're the potter. And we are designing our life by what we focus on. If what we're focused on is unconscious, obviously now we're just an unconscious creator. That's what's happening. This is why we keep having these patterns in our life. So basically, our unconscious mind, our programming is driving the bus. So when you get all of these thoughts conscious again, you are in the driver's seat at that point, and you can change your life. Welcome to the evolution of free